Oh, sorry, you caught me playing with my Riker action figure. We were not able to get a writer on for this week's episode of Strange New Words. They were both busy with production, and I hope you agree with me when I say that making Star Trek does come before talking about making Star Trek. It's tough for this podcaster to admit. We were able to sit down with the young, up-and-coming director of Episode 4, though, one Mr. Jonathan Frakes. There he is. He looked just like that when we talked to him. Torn shirt and everything. No. I hope you enjoy this conversation with him. We didn't have a lot of time, but we were able to cram in as many questions as we could. So sit back and enjoy our conversation with Mr. Jonathan Frakes about A Space Adventure Hour. How are you doing?
Never better, man. How are you?
Never better, thank you. All right, well, let's start. When you were first presented with the idea for episode 304, what was your initial reaction to hearing everything you'd be doing?
Thrilled. Having known Gene, and then to see that the character was going to be loosely based on Gene, and then the great backstory of Lucille Ball, and I've done three shows with Rebecca now, so I knew she was going to crush that. And Chrissy, sort of, I've been a fan of to see, and then to have her be in the forward. Poor Ethan was the only one who wasn't able to play in another costume and a bunch of wigs and wild makeup, and all the departments got to spread their wings. We were on location, which we never are. Everybody was happy to be off the ship. It was some of it was still an homage and a very positive, honoring the Gene Roddenberry vision, the idea of no sexism and no racism and the importance of diversity and the prime directive is peppered in the show, particularly in Celia's scenes in the fireplace room and some of the stuff that Pike is saying as he's packing up his pajamas. But the idea that we could do a murder mystery in that style of the 60s or 70s with these characters so broadly painted,
Mm-hmm.
and it gave the actors who we're all used to seeing in their more buttoned up Star Trek characters,
Right,
use entirely different parts of their toolbox as actors. And that was, I think everybody relished it.
So, being a veteran of holodeck episodes yourself, did you have any advice you gave the cast for this one?
I always thought the holodeck was just, there's what's different besides the silly black box with the stripes in it. I mean, once you get there, you're in a scene on a show.
Mm-hmm. And being a veteran of holodeck episodes, both in front of and behind the camera, were you able to do anything on this one that you had always wished you could do before?
I did love breaking the fourth wall. I loved when Scotty looked into the lens to
Yes.
talk to Lon. I thought that was a great opportunity. That was cleverly, again, it was in the script and it paid off brilliantly. And also it set up, I think, the importance of the kiss at the end, which was earned and very important, but wasn't leaned into too heavily. There were so many stories going on and so much acting and so much behavior and so much drama that the kiss had a meaning. Is it thank you? Is it are we in love? Is it, there were so many, it was a nice soft note at the end of some wild music.
Yeah, well, speaking of the wild music, this episode has basically three different layers of reality, right? You got the ship and people playing themselves. You've got the holodeck with people playing holodeck characters. And then you have basically the memories of the holodeck characters of the show they have made. What was the most challenging part of balancing all those tones and styles?
I think we had to remember to set up the secret that La'an having this relationship with Spock was ultimately going to pay off in the fifth act. And we had to pepper some of that in throughout. And it was the behavior of the actors and the story was so wild. The tendency was to forget it, but thanks to Bill and Dana, I was reminded, don't forget, we have to, this moment is essential and this is going to be essential. So a lot of it's in prep because we were able to spend so much time together on the script and with the designers. This is an episode where we leaned very heavily on Jonathan Lee and Bernadette and the hair and the makeup department in a way that I think everybody really enjoyed. It's like they got out to recess.
Yeah. Oh, the enjoyment oozes off the screen for sure.
Yeah.
So speaking of enjoying themselves, the choice to have Paul Wesley do a Kirk impression and the style of the impression, which is, I think, very unique and amazing. Was that baked in when you came on, or did you help develop that?
We worked on that because we wanted to make Paul and I, and again, the writers and producers, we wanted to honor it. We wanted it to be an homage, but we never wanted to offend. I think we were helped by the fact that the word on the street is that Bill kind of approves of Paul, which is very helpful to all of us. And Wesley is so facile that when he saw the style of the set and the style of the camera work and the style of the costumes that we had built into the show within the show, he was given the permission, certainly by me, and he took the permission by the tone of what was going on around him to lean all the way into the impersonation in a way that was just delicious.
Very much so. Speaking of the things he leaned into, you've directed 2 episodes of Strange New Worlds, and both of them have had a Riker maneuver joke in them so far. Can
How
you tell
about
us
that?
how this one came about, and will we see more in future seasons?
I was certainly, it's going to become a signature. The first one was completely improv. I mean, I told him to check out the salad, the saddle. That was Jack adding the word Riker was ad-libbed and was one of the best moments in the show. Paul and I had talked about, can you get your leg over that chair? We thought that would be funny. And then the set department had to disassemble the chair between takes for us, or I think they maybe at lunch, so that that gag of knocking the shit out of the chair would work. So that again, all the departments were in this to win it. When we were on that set, for instance, people, the whole office was down there, all of hair and makeup, and the seamstresses, everybody was fascinated to be part of this kind of honoring of the original series.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk to both Jonathan and Bernadette about everything they did with that. So the outtakes in general, I mean, how much of that was improv? How much was scripted?
The outtakes were happened primarily because that set lent itself to falling apart. And then I asked the character who's holding the eyeballs to come over the wall, and she had on sneakers and jeans, and I thought, well, why not? And the real outtakes, which I hope you get to see sometime, are I always let the takes run after the scene is over. Anson with that telephone, he did things that were insane and wonderful and wild that, Akiva and Henry had the good taste to cut back. But there is a lot of stuff on the editor's floor that'll make a really good gag reel.
We're going to clip this and send it to Paramount and say, show us those. Well, going back to preparation for this, what sort of prep did you do? Or was it just the life of Jonathan Frakes was all the prep you needed?
Well, no, we had to have, everybody was involved because there were new sets and we were on location, which we never are. So the spaceship set, Akiva was very interested with Jonathan and me and Maya, the cinematographer, in what colors we were going to use because color was a big part of the TOS, and obviously we took it to an extreme. And to go in, and we were in that overstated mansion for like 6 days. First of all, to be out on location was such a treat for us to be off the spaceship. So all of the factors that went into the making of contributed to the freedom that we had to make the show. I think it was Kismet.
Yes. As far as like the genres go, directing those different genres, the 70s murder mystery, the sci-fi, did you go back and revisit any examples of those? Or
I didn't revisit any of the original series because I'd seen it was sort of I felt the original series, but I remember being on shows like Barnaby Jones and Quincy, and they had a vibe where there was always the zoom or always the push or all the style of the murder mystery was based on what I remember from the 60s and 70s, I Spy and all those shows that looked of the era.
mm-hmm. And coming onto this again, great script, great actors. What do you feel you personally can you point to one moment where you're like, that was the Jonathan Frakes signature right there? That's what I brought to this episode. Just like one fun moment that you're proud of when you watch.
I I think the idea that Anson felt free enough we had worked on this idea that I got him some research on Gene and he did some research on Gene. He was doing that voice. And there's a moment where Rebecca's character talks about having to sell the house. And we cut back to Anson and he says in his little voice, but you love that house. That tiny little moment just felt to me like, where did that come from? What a wonderful non-Pike performance. Anyway,
That's great. Well, thank you so much for your time here today.
the pleasure's mine. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Live long and prosper.